Hello and welcome back to another prediction video. Today we're going to be predicting Week 4 games with Power Score. Power Score is my metric that I'm using to determine how good a team is on a scale with average being exactly 0, and these will show stats in overall, offense, defense, and luck, which is just any category that doesn't fall under directly offense or defense. So last week, I predicted 11 games correct, and Power Score predicted 10, and overall that brings me ahead by 2 games overall, 34 and 14. Power Score predicted 32 right and 16 wrong. Now, first game up on Thursday night, we have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle, they keep improving each week, and they looked almost unstoppable against the Saints, although that was just the Saints. And Arizona, they keep playing close games, and they just barely lost to the 49ers. Power Score has them with a higher Power Score overall, being 11th. And I'm going to take the Seahawks, though. I think that they're going to continue to improve, and although they won't blow out the Cardinals like they did the Saints, I think that they're going to come away with the win. Next, we have the Dublin game with the Vikings going against the Steelers. The Vikings, they blew out the Bengals, and they just seem all over the place in terms of how good or bad they are. It's a very hard team to read right now. But the Steelers have seemed just pretty average so far, which is reflected in their Power Score being just above 0 at 16th. And they just barely beat the Patriots. So I'm going to take the Vikings and so will Power Score. Now we have the Commanders taking on the Falcons. The Commanders, they took care of business against the Raiders. Even without Jaden Daniels, the offense looked pretty good. The Falcons, though, they were shut out by the Panthers, which is pretty bad. They could still bounce back, but I'm going to take the Commanders, and Power Score's taking the Falcons. Now we have the Chargers taking on the Giants. The Chargers look like an excellent team, very complete team. They're 5th overall in Power Score. And the Giants, they did not look very good. Jackson Dart is the new starter, and we'll see how he compares to Russell Wilson. I'm not sure what to expect from that team. I don't think that it'll make a huge difference, and their Power Score is pretty low. We're both taking the Chargers in this one. Now we have the Titans taking on the Texans. The Titans, they did force the Colts to punt, although that's pretty much their highlight of the whole game. They don't have much else going for them, and the Texans, though, they have had a disappointing start. I think that they will finally have a get-right game, and they're going to win this one. The Power Score is taking the Titans, though. Next up, we have the Eagles taking on the Buccaneers. The Eagles, they don't look elite, but they do keep winning, and same with the Buccaneers. They don't look elite to me, but they are still winning games. I do think that I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this one, simply because they keep beating the Eagles, and Power Score's taking the Eagles. Next, we have the Panthers taking on the Patriots. The Panthers, they shut out the Falcons and scored 30 points on them, so that's pretty good going for them. And the Patriots, I do think that they should be better than the Panthers, but they're still not a super convincing team. I am going to take the Patriots cautiously, and Power Score taking the Panthers. Now we have the Saints taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Saints, they look like the worst team in football right now after that terrible loss to the Seahawks. The Bills, they didn't put the game away against the Dolphins until the final moments, but I still think that they're the best team in the league right now. Power Score has them ranked 2nd overall, and we're both taking the Bills. Now the Cleveland Browns against the Detroit Lions. The Browns, they beat the Packers in dramatic fashion. They won just barely, but it was the Packers who many have said is one of the best teams in the league. And the Lions, though, they beat the Ravens pretty convincingly. They didn't really leave anything out on the field. They took care of business. They looked really good. I'm going to take the Lions, and so will Power Score. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Jacksonville has looked pretty good. They've looked pretty good recently. Power score is really high on them. They're 3rd overall in the league. And the 49ers, I just trust them more to win consistently, and they're on a win streak to start the season, and I have them continuing that win streak. Power score is taking the Jacksonville Jaguars, though. Now we have the Colts taking on the Rams. The Colts have looked very good in the first 3 weeks. They might be benefiting from both the schedule and a couple of lucky things. The Rams, they're a good team that just barely lost to the Eagles on a blocked field goal. I just think that they're a better team. Now there is the Chicago Bears and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Bears, they convincingly beat the Cowboys, and the Raiders, they had a thorough loss to the Commanders. Their losses have come against good teams, but the Bears, I don't think, are a good team. I think that the Raiders are going to win, and Power Score agrees. Now we have the Ravens going against the Chiefs. The Ravens had a really tough loss to the Lions, and the Chiefs, they did take care of business against the Giants and finally got a win. And a loss would be devastating for either of these teams. It's really hard to predict, but I'm going to take the Ravens, and Power Score's taking the Chiefs. Now there is the Packers going against the Cowboys. This is a revenge game for Micah Parsons. The Packers, this will be a get-right game after a shocking loss to Cleveland. The Cowboys, coming off a bad loss to the Bears, and I just have little faith in them to beat the Packers, so I'm going to take the Packers, and Power Score is also taking the Packers. Alright, now we have one of the 2 Monday night games. The Jets, they should have beat the Buccaneers, and they're probably better than their record shows, being 0-3. The Dolphins, though, they showed signs of life against the Bills, but they're still not an impressive team. I think that the Jets are going to win, and Power Score also thinks that. Alright, finally we have the Bengals and the Broncos. The Bengals did not look good without Joe Burrow. They lost terribly to the Vikings. The Broncos, though, they really should be a better team in this game, and they should come away with a win and start to get back on the right track. And yeah, I'm taking the Broncos, and so does Power Score. Thank you so much for watching. Come back next week to see how our predictions turned out.